We are literally under the cover of darkness, and the heavens have opened up a flurry of a storm upon us. I don't know what the weather's like in the rest of the country. I know that Durban was experiencing some rain over the course of the weekend. I don't know if that's continued as the week has kicked off. But yeah, that's what's happening from our end. We are in recess between the Madlanga Commission as well as that parliamentary ad hoc committee. And so when they are in recess, it's time for us to take over the show and bring you some regular programming, albeit for just a short hour. And as per usual, we touch base with Uspahle Mota, who's our SABC News reporter, and first get a feel for everything that has been transpiring at the Madlanga Commission for day 25. And then we'll be unpacking the probably what is going to be called an historic settlement between telecoms giant Vodacom and, of course, developer of Please Call Me, Unkosana Kenneth Makete. And it's interesting to know what the amount is. I would love to know because initially he was asking for around 10 billion rand. At least that's what everyone's been running with. I don't know if he ever confirmed this amount for us. And then they have reached an out of court settlement. And so all matters, from what I understand, have been withdrawn. But we have Utabi Singh Dubazane from Dubazane Attorneys, who's going to be unpacking this for us, and we'll find out what does this all mean and where we all at. I mean, everyone's had their eyes on this case for very many years. And I can't remember when it was initially lodged. It's been that long. The voices that whisper in my ear say it's been between 17 and 18 years. It's really been that long? Shoo, that's crazy. Okay, so that's reached finality. We'll be touching base on that. And then Fatherland is at the State Theatre. We'll catch up with the artistic director of the show. It's just gone 10 past 1 o'clock. A quick pause, and then we come back with the splash.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, Sbatle Mota is joining us now, SABC News reporter, and we are getting an overview of the Madlanga Commission Day 25. And we've got the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Chief on the stand today, and he's the witness for the commission giving some testimony. And Sbatle, it's hard to keep track of everything that is happening at Madlanga because it quite frankly requires you to be glued to the screen 24/7. And a lot of South Africans, we have to be preoccupied with matters of work. So, what have we missed?
Oh, definitely. Good afternoon to you, Bridget, and to the listeners. So today we got a new witness with the National Commission. And this by the name of Jabulani Makiye, as you have rightfully mentioned. But I think a lot of people are asking themselves the question as to why is testimony important? Why an Metro Police officer testifying before the National Commission? But this then goes back to the terms of references that were given by President Cyril Ramaphosa, which included Metro Police Department in Ekurhuleni, and Pretoria. So, as you know, I mean, the Metro Police Department in Ekurhuleni has already been mentioned in the fact that we had this blue light that was fitted by the Metro Police Department on vehicles, private vehicles owned by Muslim Matala, and they were allegedly authorized by um, Deputy Chief of Police, Julius Sanazi. So I think what the Chief of Police, Dani Matiye, is trying to do is just take us through some of the challenges he has somehow encountered at the hands of these people. This
Mm,
also includes, with the former city manager Masazi as well as the people who was, and what he essentially is that, and what I gather from his he's taking certain decisions, appointments that were supposed to be made by him were now not, given to him, and people were just like interfering inside, aligning him. This includes the city manager, the HOD for HR, as well as Julius Mufanazi, and some of these, the top posts were given to Julius Mufanazi. So now one gets to, possibly they wanted him to decide lines so they can make these appointments as well as take on this relationship between Kidmatala Security as well as the department.
mm. What is interesting about the Malanga Commission is that it's getting to that point where you can't now watch it in isolation or follow it in isolation because it's tied to so many other things that are transpiring, whether we're talking in the ad hoc committee or matters that are also unfolding in the, and I'm not sure if it's the higher courts or the lower courts with
Mm.
General Dumsani Kumalo.
No, definitely. I mean, we've seen yesterday General Dumsane Kumalo concluded his testimony, and we concluded quite late because he had to take court today
Mm,
for a case where they hired BMW, candidate rather, who was given the position of the brigadier, and he had a regarding this. We were looking for somebody with mechanical as well as electrical engineering experience. We did advertise internally, and that's according to the set process. But none of the candidates that we saw or interviewed within set had those qualifications. Hence, we had to go outside and find that person. And this person, apparently, the sort of person that they're looking for to work hand in hand with them in their COVID operations are only found like in your motor vehicle industries, and hence
mm,
why we saw Guillermo being hired and given that top post. I think yesterday it was also the first time where Dumsani Kumalo actually spoke about the disappointment, which subsequently has landed him in hot water, including Guinea. So everything is just tied together, with the smart information as well as the ad hoc committee. But I think when you keep an eye on one, you should be able to sort of like check up on some others. And then it is a quite extensive and that we are seeing with commissions.
mm. And yesterday, as part of his testimony, General Kumalo actually slammed IDAC, right? And he said their case was
Mm.
one based on retaliation. And this was just before Advocate Andrea Johnson was set to appear before the ad hoc committee.
No, definitely. And I think what is important is that, I mean, IREG is obviously a parliament or committee, and he's going to be which I haven't been following much on.
Mm,
But I think it's also be really interesting to see before the National Commission is testimony that he gives the parliament and the National Commission in terms of differ, So I think I always say it's still early stages, we can't be excited by other people who have participated in these matters. According to the Madana calendar, we are still under the first stage of the commission, and we still have two more people who have been implicated, in the allegations have had time to actually respond.
mm. Smahle, let's leave it there for today. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow as we round up the week. That was Smahle Mota, SABC News reporter, and she's been helping us out since the onset of the Malanga Commission, just rounding up those days for us and putting into context the various characters that come before that commission. It's at 20 past 1 o'clock on the full circle with myself, Bridget Missing on SAFM. We're going to hit a quick pause and then we come back on the other side and we unpack what some are terming a historic victory for Please Call Me Creator.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
We're not just building technology, we're building the future of South Africa. From cloud that grows with your business, to AI that empowers decisions, and IoT that connects people, places, and possibilities. Vodacom Business is here to help you lead with confidence. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
I don't love school. I don't love trying to learn like everyone else learns and falling behind when I don't understand. But I do love learning. I do love working to my own schedule and getting the support when I need extra help. I do love UCT Online High School because I do love my future. Apply online before 28 November.
The Natal Rich Boys have a big task to spoil the Buccaneers' day, but the black and white Gents from Orlando are adamant that they will march to the final. This is the Carling Knockout Semi-Final. Catch Richards Bay versus Orlando Pirates this Saturday, 8 November at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then at 3 p.m. on SABC radio stations. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Bridget Mazinga, weekdays on the Full Circle.
By the way, don't forget that we are inviting you to our third annual public lecture delivered by the Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser Moligeti. The lecture will take place on the 27th of November at the Indaba Hotel Spa and Conference Center here in Fourways, Johannesburg, under the theme Confronting Inequality, Corruption and Unemployment, Rebuilding South Africa's Social Contract for Inclusive and Sustainable Growth. You can secure your seat by simply RSVPing via our email, which is rsvp@safm.co.za. That's rsvp@safm.co.za.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Bridget Mazinga on SAFM.
All right, so Vodacom and Gosani Makate have settled out of court in the Please Call Me matter. This, I'm sure, is going down as one of those historic legal battles between, what was it? Goliath, no, David and Goliath. And it seems as though the underdog may have come up on top here. But we'll find out more from Tabiseng Dubazane, who's director at Dubazane Attorneys. How are you doing, Tabiseng?
I'm good, Bridget. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I mean, I'm not smiling as much as Nkosane today. I'm sure he woke up on the brighter side of the bed today.
I think after years and years, well over a decade, I think it's over 20 years now, with him fighting this over and over again, having it settled must be a relief. And if it's a settlement, it means that the compromise at least is going to compare what the team
Yeah.
considering that they had received him 1 million, and I think he was looking at 109 billion or something like that, but he was being settled to 9.6 billion. So I'm sure with everything, the decision to finally settle must have been something quite.
Absolutely, because I mean, one can't be, and my team was saying that this matter has been in the courts now for you're right, for about 18, 17 years or so. That's a very, very long time for a court battle to be ensuing. Is this one of the most historic battles we've seen in South Africa thus far? And also, what are the implications around intellectual property for employees on this? Because at some point we spoke to attorneys much like yourself around the intellectual properties of employees when you create something at work, and what is the expectation there?
So usually what would happen is that if you are employed firm and you come up with a certain conflict to make some sort of money,
Mm,
that's the terms and conditions of the contract. Sometimes you use property of the SES and maybe you may not have the kind of intellectual property you would think you would have, but there should be some sort of paid you when but for your idea coming through, the company may not have the money they now have.
mm,
But with that being said, the own rent, you are not allowed to use it as an assembly. So once you commit and you teach it to the company, I think you want to be very clear that you're not teaching it as an employer, as an employee,
mm,
but you are teaching it as an individual and perhaps one partnership so that they can that the definitions roles are clear and defined. So
mm.
I think that is what should be done going forward, and people should be aware of that when they so the ramifications of the decision, major one is at the normal court. Second one is that all legal fees, I wonder how they're going to deal with the agreement because a typical settlement agreement is something along the lines of willing and everything are agreeing that after 18 to 20 years of battle, the legal everybody is going to use their own legal costs, even if the court order to that effect. And then everybody, let's say, protocol want to pay out the money, then one of the clauses I would assume that his attorney is going to put in would be that protocol should put the tax portion of that payout. Because
Mm,
just because he's getting a lump sum, he still has to pay tax on that lump sum. So in order
absolutely.
actually maybe the agreement saying that protocol will be responsible for the tax portion of that amount.
Oh, I mean, I feel like that would take another 2 years to come
I
to
know,
some
right?
kind of agreement with. Um, but tell me this, because he tweeted, yesterday sometime that in response to media queries, indeed, the please call me matter has been settled and it's subject to confidentiality. There's a
Yeah.
lot of estimation around what is the figure here.
Yes.
Because it was a very huge bridge between 47 million and 10 billion rands. So
Yeah.
if we had to guesstimate, what would be a reasonable settlement that everybody could get with here? And maybe would it also entail future royalties that are earned from future use of please call me's?
I highly doubt Vodacom would agree to feature anything. They want this to be open and done with. They don't. I'm sure they don't want to have him kids. I don't think it will be part and parcel of it. But when we look at the figures, I'm a lawyer. I don't know numbers to say, but from the estimates that we had, which is talking with other colleagues and people in the financial space, people are looking at it around 300 million, 400 million somewhere, which is a very far cry from the
Mm,
47 billion that offered him. And also, it's also a far cry from the 9 point something billion that he was asking for.
yeah.
So I think that's why the clause of confidentiality is there to say whatever we agree upon here, you cannot disclose. Should you disclose, there's consequences for that. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I guess I'm very happy with the move on this.
And just finally, in Tabi saying, what would you guess would be the reason for Vodacom shareholders to finally just decide, let's just settle this matter?
You know what? The Concord remitted the matter back to saying the SC had looked at that, the material,
Mm,
and all of that. So going back to the SCA means going back to the drawing board, going back to the education. And if the Makata, Mr. I'm not another appeal on this was never story where the back it has established that the issue was how much. So if you to keep going back and forth on the how much it's a waste of money and losing more money than they're making, and perhaps maybe the brand of Vodacom has been affected as a result of this. So perhaps they could have been one of the choice to stop the litigation and just come to an agreement.
All right. Well, listen, kudos to him for finally wrapping this matter and getting his dues. Thank you so much for the time. That was Tabi Singh Dubazane, who's the director at Dubazane Attorneys. It's just gone 1:30. We're going to head on over to Andela with the headline news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, President Cyril Ramaphosa will answer a range of questions from MPs in the National Assembly this afternoon. They include the criteria he has used to select a panel that will recommend the next National Director of Public Prosecutions, as well as interventions to address the scourge of murders in Cape Town townships. The head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, Advocate Andrea Johnson, has denied allegations that some of the information she receives are tip-offs from her husband, who is working in the police's crime intelligence. And the African Union's Observer Mission says Tanzania's election did not comply with democratic standards. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. SAFM Music, good times, good memories.
I'm just like somebody inspired.
Old school, sounding so good. SAFM Music, with you wherever you go. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on the Full Circle.
Alrighty, it is time for us to get into a different kind of conversation, and we're looking at stages, pages, screens, and more. And you've heard me talk about this production, Fatherland, at the State Theatre, and we've got artistic director of the show joining us now, Aubrey Sikabi, who is in studio ahead of the big opening day. How are you?
I'm good in yourself, please.
Great. Thank you so much for coming through. Much appreciated, especially given the weather. It's wet outside. Let's get to it. Fatherland. This is a story about Dr. Titi Chulu. And I've been pronouncing his surname for the last couple of weeks, and I'm glad you're here today, because then you're going to give me the 100% pronunciation. But give us some history and some context around this gentleman.
Dr. Titi Chulu turned 100 on the 20th of October 2025. And he is a struggle veteran and MK soldier. He trained in China and Soviet Union and Tanzania. And they came to infiltrate the country via a ship called Aventura. Actually, that's what drew me to the work, because I've always known that the MK cadres were coming via Swaziland, Botswana, Mozambique. And then when I read the story that they came via Aventura, which got stuck twice as they approached Tanzania. And then eventually they came inland, and he was arrested. First, he was arrested in Botswana and served 3 years, 9 months there. The 3 years, they were supposed to serve 9 months. They said they should pay a fine. They refused to pay a fine. He refused to pay a fine and said he's a freedom fighter. He's prepared to serve. So he served 3 years there, back to Tanzania, then to the Soviet for Navy training. And they came in from Kismayo in Somalia. That's when their boat got stuck twice, called Aventura. And then they came overland. And then he got arrested and served 15 years in Robben Island. And then when he came back, his wife, Maputi Alina, was already relocated to Soshanguve, and he went to Soshanguve and stayed in Soshanguve. He's still in Soshanguve today, my hometown. So he's still in Soshanguve, yes.
Very interesting. So tell me this. How come we know so little about this particular character? also maybe it's because I've not delved too much into the history of the MK, but how come I don't know, and I'm talking the original MK, how come I don't know too much about this attempt with this ship, the Aventura?
Yeah, I didn't know. Look, I've done Rivonia trial. I've done most political stories. I've done the story of Solomon Matangu, Kalushi, rhetorical, Mantolo, the 10th step about death row. I didn't know about this. So when I read the book written by Dr. Tlo Situmo, that is the chapter that actually made me think, wow, I want to do this play. A certain gentleman gave me the book to read, Sello Maseko, and said, hey, they've asked me to do this work. I think this is down your alleyway. Can you look at it? When I read that story, I thought, what is going on here? I didn't know that either. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people also, if they do not know about Dr. Titi Chulo. I mean, he's been honored by Tshwane University of Technology. You know, he's got a legacy lecture every year. He's Twalandwe. He received it, I think, early this year. So he is quite an important person. But we only know certain stories, or we've chose to understand certain stories, and very little is written. And that's also what attracted me to the story, to say, we have to capture this for eternity, because he's an important role player towards our freedom. And that's how I really came to do the story. And I think I've got about 10 to 20 hours of interviews with him. And I mean, in January still, I mean, he was turning 100 the same year, but he still remembers dates, times, places. It's just remarkable.
What a wowzer. And you know what you talk about, the sad truth, and I've been preoccupied with this for a number of years now on various shows, is the sad truth is the politics of memory. Because we choose to tell the stories of certain liberators because of their affiliations to who currently leads the country. And then we omit the stories and the contributions of so many other people, like this Dr. Titi Chulu, who otherwise would pass on an unknown hero. Yes, he's got some of the recognition and things like that, but for the greater part, South Africans just don't know his story.
Yes. Yes, that is true. I mean, I grew up in Soshanguve. I knew that there was a gentleman from Robben Island in Soshanguve when he was released around 86, 88. But that's all I knew. I didn't know the journey. I didn't know that he was tortured so much. I didn't know he served 18 years in prison and had so much training. So that's why it was important for me to put the story on stage and make it epic, given that, I mean, for me, the fact that he was also turning 100 and he's there, he's telling his story. I mean, even when you watch the production, he's actually in most instances in about 4 scenes, he himself is telling that story. We filmed him telling the story and narrating it to me, and that's what makes it so authentic, because he is there to see it, and it's good that we did it when he's still alive.
Absolutely. And now, when he sort of goes back into the memory archives, what does he say about this incredible life lived? I'm sure when it was in the moment, maybe one might think it's less than incredible when you are in the throes of facing prison and all the rest of it.
I mean, it was selflessness. We filmed him on the 18th of October, because we opened on the 19th to 20th was his birthday, and he is really old now, and he was not feeling well. It was incredible to hear him. It was cold on the 19th, and he said, "When it's this cold, I'm wondering." He is sick himself at that time, but he's saying, "I'm wondering what the kids are eating, what the children, where they are sleeping," and then he went on to say, "As you can see, I'm sick today." The struggle has eaten my life. I don't even know if today is the last time I talk to you, but the struggle has eaten my life. It has finished me. But he still does it. He still cares about the children. He still cares about everything. So he is there. It's that selflessness of those people that wanted to fight for this country, wanted to fight for justice and peace and equality, and they just did it. They left their families behind, their education, everything behind, to go and start to fight for the fatherland.
Aubrey, I want us to just take a quick pause, and then we'll come back and we'll wind down the last few minutes of the conversation. But let's just take a quick commercial break here.
Thank you.
Streaming Skim Sum on the way to class.
Catching the Premier League while waiting for your order.
Jamming to Metro FM before you even get out of bed.
On SABC Plus, sinayo yonke into ifunayo. Your shows, your music, your way, anytime, anywhere. Zero subscription fees.
On your phone, tablet, or smart TV.
Download SABC Plus on iOS or Google Play Store.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
This summer, the continent unites for the biggest football showdown in Africa. The Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025 is coming to your screens, live and available on SABC TV channels, SABC Sport, SABC Plus, and across your favorite SABC radio stations. Catch all 52 thrilling matches, stand behind Bafana Bafana, and experience every goal, every cheer, and every victory from 21 December 2025 to 18 January 2026. SABC Sport brings you all the AFCON 2025 action, live and free, because it's game on everywhere.
For the love of the game.
The Dogs of War are ready to fight for 90 minutes to grab 3 vital points in front of their home fans.
A try with the cutback. It's Jeff Williams. Everton have seen
However, the Cottagers want to add extra efforts to triumph and find a way out of the bottom half.
for Wilson. That's a great finish.
This is the Premier League. Catch Everton FC versus Fulham FC on Saturday, 8 November at 4:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC 3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Access to the internet is vital for any country to grow. That's why the recent 6.75 billion rand digital infrastructure deal that Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking facilitated between Telkom and an Actors-led consortium is so transformational for South Africa. It unlocks growth and provides internet access to underserved communities who will now have access to the internet for the very first time. Search CIB Stories of Impact to watch the full story.
Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Hi, I'm Zycard. Catch me every Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. on Spotlight as we bring you blow-by-blow sporting action news. That Spotlight every Saturday. You don't want to miss it.
So Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. They provide the cloud that scales with ambition, AI that drives smarter decisions, IoT that connects what truly matters, and secure connectivity that keeps everything moving. From small enterprises to public sector solutions, Vodacom Business is creating a future where every connection counts. Stronger businesses, thriving communities, a nation ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, we are coming up to our last item of the afternoon, but just wrapping up our conversation with Aubrey Sekhabi, who is the artistic director of Fatherland, which is on at the State Theatre, telling the story of Dr. Titi Chulo. If you missed the background, a fascinating history of a struggle hero who ultimately paid the ultimate sacrifice, really, a life spent in incarceration. But still living, still breathing, 100 years of fabulous life right now, and still able to take in the production. For our listeners, the run, how long is it running at the State Theatre?
We got 4 performances left tonight: Friday night 7 p.m., Saturday night 7 p.m., and Sunday 3 p.m.
So just the weekend and we are done after
Y-
Sunday's weekend matinee.
Yes, we're done because we've been running for 3 weeks
Yeah.
now. Yes.
I mean, we've been reminding the people to go. So,
Yes.
absolutely. Is Dr. TT going to be in attendance at any one of the shows?
I mean, we keep hoping. We're not sure, but on the opening night, we actually streamed it for him live.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
we set up at his place, and he managed to see it live when we opened.
What was his final word for the final production? Because I'm sure he saw glimpses whilst you were in pre-production.
No, no, I mean, we just gave him the song. He liked it. I mean, he said when I went to see him on the 20th, he said, "Well done, my son." So that was really nice to hear from him.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Aubrey, thank you so much for joining us in studio this afternoon. So that production, Fatherland, is on at the State Theatre, and you can check the State Theatre box office if you want to get yourself a seat for the weekend. The final performance is at 3 p.m. on Sunday, and that would be the Sunday matinee, but with performances each one of the evenings until then. That's where we leave it. We are going to get into our kids' programming now, and then Ondela is coming through with the top of the hour news.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Asibambisane. Sinina Khomani. Haraswarani. Say and say. Side by side.
Good afternoon and welcome to Side by Side, brought to you by the National Department of Health, Ilifa Labantwana, and the SABC Education. This November, the National Department of Health is launching a child health catch-up drive in communities where children have missed out on their life-saving immunizations and other essential health services. During this drive, the department will be raising awareness about the importance of ensuring that every child receives all key health services, including immunization, growth monitoring, vitamin supplementation, deworming, and screening or treatment of conditions such as HIV. The department will also be taking extra steps to reach out every child, including mobile clinics and outreach events, making it easier for caregivers to access these vital services. Today, we're talking about immunization and why it's so important to make sure no child misses out on these life-saving vaccines. Joining us to talk about this important topic is Dr. Ndlovu from Harry Gwala Hospital. Dr. Ndlovu, thank you so much for joining us today. In our show, we have spoken about the importance of childhood immunization and how they can help keep children healthy and disease free. But in the past year, we've been hearing a lot about zero doses. What are zero doses?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Zero dose refers to the children who have not received any immunization, not even a single dose, especially the first dose of the diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, or the whooping cough, which they should get to old. Children who miss getting immunized at 6 are considered unvaccinated and are completely unprotected and at risk of getting dangerous disease like measles, polio, and pneumonia. These diseases can cause disability or even death, but they can be prevented by a simple vaccine. Children who miss their immunizations are also very likely to have missed getting other critical child health services. That's why the Department of Health, in partnership with the UNICEF and other partners, are running a child health catch-up campaign starting in November to explain the benefits of making sure children get all their immunizations and make it easier for caregivers to access the services. The campaign will be centralized in 12 districts where the numbers of children who miss immunization are high. Provincial health centers throughout the country will also carry out immunization catch-up, which entails going to a local center and mobile clinics to conveniently obtain immunization. Parents and caregivers are encouraged to bring their children so health workers can check whether they have missed any vaccination or other services and provide the catch-up. It's important to bring along their children's road to health booklets, but a booklet will be provided for those who do not have.
Dr. Ndlovu, for those that might not be familiar, can you please remind us what immunizations and vaccines actually are?
Basically, immunizations and vaccines refer to the same thing, protecting your child against diseases by boosting their immune system. Immunization is a broad term that refers to the fact that your child's body is being helped to build immunity of any vaccine introduced and fight off specific diseases. Vaccines are the specific injections that we give children to help their bodies develop this immunity. But when you hear either of these words, we are talking about giving your child injections and oral drops that help their bodies learn how to fight off dangerous diseases.
And why is it so important that all children receive their immunizations?
Immunizations protect the child from dangerous vaccine preventable diseases, and these include common childhood diseases like measles that can kill a child or permanently affect their health. In addition to protecting your child, immunization also protects other children in the community. We call this the herd immunity. And it simply means when lots of people are immunized, there is a less chance of a disease appearing or occurring in a community. That means that babies who haven't yet been immunized, people with immune systems that aren't strong, for example, some children with cancer, won't get exposed to the disease and so are protected. So immunization protects individuals and the community. And this is why it's important that everyone gets immunized at the right time.
Some parents worry about whether vaccines might be dangerous. Can vaccines harm a child in any way?
Important question. Vaccines are very carefully tested before they are introduced to the public. The vaccine safety is carefully tracked. Mild side effects are normal and usually go away in a few days. And this shows that the vaccines are doing their job and the body is building immunity against the disease. These mild side effects are also much easier to deal with than getting very sick with a disease, which can then cause death or disability. Serious side effects are rare, and those reported are quickly assessed by the Independent Ministerial Advisory Committee and the Department of Health and the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority. And these are known as the adverse events following immunization. The injections will prick for a moment and then it is over. The spot on the arm or the thigh where the baby was injected is a little sore for a while, but it will soon disappear. And it is worth it for the protection that it gives the baby from the disease.
What might happen to a child that has never ever been vaccinated or received any kind of immunization?
When parents refuse to vaccinate their children, those children are left unprotected from serious disease. These illnesses can cause severe complications and sometimes even death. Refusing vaccines also affects others, especially the other siblings, the people with weak immune systems who depend on the community. When too many people skip the vaccine, the diseases more. Some schools or children's centers may also limit attendance for unvaccinated children, especially during outbreaks, others say. As parents, we all want healthy children. Vaccination is one of the safest and the most effective ways to protect and to keep our whole community strong.
Dr. Ndlovu, you explained a bit about diseases that children can be vaccinated against, but you didn't really go into detail. What are some of the serious diseases that children need to be vaccinated against?
Yes, absolutely, Ms. P. There are several great vaccines that have been developed. Each one helps your child's body learn to fight off a specific disease. These diseases include measles, tetanus, TB, diphtheria, Haemophilus influenza, and the whooping cough, hepatitis B, polio, pneumococcus, and rotavirus. South Africa's expanded program on immunization provides children with immunization against 15 dangerous diseases. In the past, many children died from these diseases or were seriously ill or affected for life. Since immunization programs began, vaccines have saved 154 million lives, mostly young children. In Africa, vaccines cut the number of babies dead by more than half. According to the World Health Organization, immunization is the most cost-effective public health intervention, saves at least 10 million children's lives every year.
Now, since different vaccines are given at different ages, how can caregivers know when to take their children for their next immunization?
Yes, Miss P. Every baby needs to be immunized at birth, and then 6 more times during the first year of life, and then again at 6 months. Other children get booster vaccines at 6 years, just before they start school, and again at 12. Grade 5 girls also get an extra vaccine that is called an HPV vaccine after they are 9 years to 15 years of age. And this is given through a school health program. The schedule for routine immunization sets out on page 27 on the Road to Health booklet. And as each vaccine is administered, the nurse signs the booklet and fills in the date on which it was given. And in this way, the next seeing the baby at the next visit can see which vaccine we administered in when. The nurse will also always note the date when the baby needs to come back to the clinic again, not always must. Hence, it is important for caregivers to always bring the Road to Health booklet when visiting a healthcare. Grade 5 girls also get an extra vaccine called HPV after they are 9 years to 15 years of age. It's important for all pregnant women and caregivers looking after children under the age of 2 to register on the MomConnect app so that they can get SMSs or WhatsApp to remind them when to come to the next vaccine. She will also know if the vaccine is not given on the right or the left so that it reminds and supports the necessary. Schools will ask you to prove that your child has received immunization against preventable diseases for admission purposes. Therefore, it is important to keep your child's Road to Health booklet up to date and in a safe place. If you lost your child's Road to Health booklet, ask the clinic to help you with a new one.
And we know that some children miss their vaccinations. So, how can families and caregivers and communities help make sure those children catch up on those doses?
Everyone can help, and everyone has a role to play. Community and religious can promote the benefits and the importance of immunization in their meetings. They can invite the health workers to the community gathering to answer the people's questions and concerns, and they can offer convenient venues for outreach services to be provided. Families and partners can support caregivers get to the immunization services and make sure that all pregnant women register with the Mom Connect. Young people can mobilize to help remind people that all children starting school in January need to be immunized. It is important that communities understand that unvaccinated children and adults who are not vaccinated make it easier for stress to spread in communities.
Dr. Ndlovu, you mentioned adults. So, for adults who have missed their vaccinations, what should they do?
For adults who have missed their vaccinations or never been vaccinated, it's never too late to start. Vaccines aren't just they protect adults too. Many diseases like the measles, whooping cough, the flu, the COVID-19 can still affect adults and cause serious illnesses. But getting vaccinated now protects your own health and the people around you, especially your babies, the elderly, and those with a weak immune system. So if you unsure of your vaccination history, you need to visit your local clinic or a healthcare provider. And remember, it's never too late to protect yourself. Vaccination is an act of self love and community care.
And finally, what key message would you like to leave with our listeners about the importance of immunization?
Yes, Miss. The key message let's leave our listeners that immunization is life. It's one of the safest and the most powerful ways to protect children and adults from serious diseases. Vaccines don't just protect the person receiving them, they also protect the families and the communities that we love. When we do this, our healthy start. We keep schools and workplaces, and we help our healthcare system focus on those who truly need it. So let's do our part. Stay up to date with our vaccines and make sure that your children are fully immunized. A small action today can mean a lifetime of protection. Thank you for listening.
And thank you for listening to Side by Side, the show that supports you to give your child the best possible start in life. Brought to you by the National Department of Health, Ilifa Labantwana, and the SABC Education. If you have questions or concerns about immunization, you can post these on our Facebook page at Side by Side SA, and a health specialist will get back to you within 24 hours. Remember to check page 27 of your child's Road to Health booklet to see whether your child has received all the immunizations required for their age.
It is important that your child receives all his or her immunizations at the right time. During the month of November, listen to your local community radio stations and social media channels for details on these catch-up services. Join the conversation with other caregivers on our Facebook page at Side by Side SA and look out for more great content.
Asibambisane. Zinina zinye. Ikhomaneni. Hariswareleni. Say and say. Side by side. Side by side.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
On the top stories, Ramaphosa to answer questions in Parliament, and IDEG head denies receiving tip-offs from her husband. For SAFM News, I am Undalambana, and a very good day. President Cyril Ramaphosa is set to answer a range of questions from MPs in the National Assembly this afternoon. Questions to be asked include the criteria he has used to select a panel that will recommend the next National Director of Public Prosecutions, as well as interventions to address the scourge of murders in Cape Town townships. Ramaphosa will also be asked about the deployment of the Special Task Force and the National Intervention Unit to Richards Bay Minerals. The head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, Advocate Andrea Johnson, has denied allegations that some of the information she receives are tips off from her husband, who is working in the police's crime intelligence. Johnson is appearing before the ad hoc committee investigating allegations of criminal infiltration, corruption, and political interference in the justice system made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi during a media briefing in July. The committee's evidence leader, Advocate Norman Arendse, is leading her evidence in chief.
My husband was very mindful. We had a conversation about do what you need to do. That's always been how it has been. I don't need information from Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson doesn't have information to give. I wouldn't ask him for information. Pillow talk gets people killed. That's something we've never done. And that has just been it. And I know that, honorable chair and members, it might sound like such a glib answer. It's the true answer. If that is how you operate, you do not have to worry about a comeback. I am aware of the allegations.
The Madlanga Commission has heard how Ekurhuleni acting chief of police Julius Mkhwanazi made 55 appointments without the involvement nor the authority of the Ekurhuleni police chief Jabulani Mabiyeye. This is not the first time that Julius Mkhwanazi's name has been mentioned in the Madlanga Commission. Evidence before the commission suggests that Mkhwanazi authorized the fitting of blue lights in the private vehicles of Usumuzi Ket Matlala. Mabiyeye has testified that the candidates selected by Mkhwanazi did not satisfy the requirements.
As I've said earlier on, that most of these candidates did not satisfy the requirements of the respective advertised post. In some instances, the posts some were appointed to were never advertised. The appointments were in large part drawn from the members of the unit which Brigadier Mkhwanazi headed.
Health Minister Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi says all citizens deserve quality health care regardless of their socio-economic status. Motsoaledi was speaking at the G20 Health Minister meeting in Polokwane, Limpopo. Motsoaledi says that they will collaborate with countries such as Norway, which already has universal health care, to ensure that the national health insurance benefits all the citizens.
We need robust regulatory guardrails, learning from global examples, to ensure public financing remains central. Health cannot just be a question of who has got more money. It's a fundamental human right. We must defend it from forces that prioritize financial returns and profits over human dignity and survival.
The African Union's observer mission says Tanzania's election did not comply with democratic standards. Their statement comes days after President Samia Suluhu Hassan was declared the landslide winner following protest over the exclusion of her main opponents. Despite opposition parties accusing the government of fraud, the Tanzanian government says that the elections were fair and transparent. Bonolo Maribe has more.
The African Union's observer mission has criticized the recent Tanzania election, saying it did not comply with its principles and standards for democratic elections. The country's main opposition party, Chadema, which was excluded from participating, said that hundreds of people died during protests that followed the vote. President Samia Suluhu Hassan, who won 98% of the vote, acknowledged the deaths, but the government has called the opposition's casualty figures exaggerated. Bonolo Maribe, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Recapping the top story, President Cyril Ramaphosa is set to answer a range of questions from MPs in the National Assembly this afternoon. I'm on Lambana for SFM News Alliance at 2:30.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
This is Lungi on any other regular day.
This economy makes me post once a day. Who does that? Like, ew.
Now this is Lungi getting extra with the 20 gig summer deal for just 99 Rand.
I have so many gigs. I could even have a gig, guys. I'm going live every single day to me because Cat's
Extra your summer. Get 20 gigs plus 2 months free YouTube Premium and 100 Vodabucks. Exclusively on the Vodapay app. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
This November, SFM proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
And as the Freedom Charter says, no legitimate government could claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. And I think sometimes people forget that.
SFM invites you to our 3rd annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi. The theme of the lecture is confronting inequality, corruption and unemployment, rebuilding South Africa's social contract for inclusive and sustainable growth. The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Fourways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The Expresso Morning Show has been nominated in 5 categories in the 3rd annual National Film and Television Awards South Africa.
It all happens on Saturday, the 22nd of November 2025 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. And public voting is open from the 13th of October to the 20th of November at midday.
So visit nationalfilmacademy.com, register and vote for Expresso Morning Show in all 5 categories.
Then, of course, catch us weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. right here on S3.
Hi, my name is Kutlwana Masote, your host of Weekend Sundowner Classics every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. exclusively on SAFM. Now, this is where you get your best classical music jams on any radio platform. Join me every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between 4 and 7 p.m. Weekend Sundowner Classics.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Ready to connect, innovate, and be inspired? It's all happening at Africa's Tech Festival, where Africa's technology meets the world. From the 10th to the 13th of November in Cape Town, join global leaders, investors, and innovators driving the future of Africa's digital economy. Don't miss the continent's biggest week in tech. Get your pass now at africatechfestival.com.
So, you just switched to a different brand of kitchen and home appliances. And you're still getting products with stylish designs, built to last and perform, and more features than you expect for the price. Of course, because you made a clever switch to Clicks Cambrook appliances with Clicks trusted quality and great value. When you switch, it just clicks. Switch and save only at Clicks.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a Clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations, and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on the Full Circle.
Just looking at the split screens on SABC's 404, and that weather seems to have taken a turn for the worst, particularly so in Johannesburg, looking at some flooding that seems to be coming out of Ekurhuleni, as posted by Traffic SA. So please, if you're on the roads at the moment, Please be cautious, exercise some patience with fellow drivers, and where required, if it is still under the cover of darkness, please ensure that you put your hazards on so that other motorists on the road are able to see you, because visibility could be impaired. I know we often lose our patience when the weather turns wet, but these are the times when we need to be a bit more conscious and a bit more considerate as a motorist. That is how we sort of segue ourselves into Madlanga Commission. We're going to go back into that commission of inquiry that is back from the recess. So we'll leave it here with my team for this afternoon. And of course, John is coming through at the top of the hour with the National Pulse. So let's go back to Madlanga and hear exactly what the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Chief Jabulani Mapiyeye is testifying about.
The office of the city manager. They were then assisting some of our officers with the treatment of the COVID-19.
Did the city pay for those services, or were they rendered free of charge?
Chair, I don't have the details of, because it was never signed by me, but it was concluded from the office of the city manager.
Okay. Can I invite you then to page 15 at paragraph 47 of your statement?
Page 15, paragraph 47.
Please.
Sorry, Advocate Silo, what is the date of this document on page 88? JM 15.
As appears on the record, it's not dated. However, if I take the commissioner back to paragraph 44, we know that from the witness that this was submitted by Brigadier Mkwanazi in respect of the MOUs that are discussed above and the service providers that the witness said were appointed in 2020 to provide services. He states, notwithstanding all that he has said, this is what Brigadier Mkwanazi submitted in response.
Maybe I should ask, Chief,
Yeah,
I'm assuming that this document came about as a result of the 2023 investigation, because until 2023, there was no issue with CAT protection services and the blue lights.
That is correct, Commissioner.
So although it's not dated, it was a response to your inquiries or the acting chief at the time, his inquiries about the relationship between EMPD and CAT protection services.
That is correct, Commissioner. That is perfect.
Thank you, Commissioner. I had then invited you to page 15 of your statement, Chief Mapiyeye, at paragraph 47. If you could read that.
Page 15, paragraph 47.
Yes.
In this report, Brigadier Mkwanazi confirmed that the memorandum of understanding was not approved by me.
In this regard, then, may I refer you back to JM 15, the document that we're looking at, the report filed by Brigadier Mkwanazi, and in particular at page 89. And almost at the top of that page, there's a heading submissions. Could you please read that paragraph quickly into the record?
Page 89 on submissions.
Yes.
After this presentation, we took a decision to formalize the relationship through a proposed memorandum of understanding, drafted and sent to the Chief's office for approval. The said memorandum was also sent to me for signature. I forwarded same to the Chief's office through his PA. The said memorandum hasn't been signed or approved. What is published in the media is an operational plan as per operational duties of an event or operation signed and co-signed by all the colleagues whose signature appears at the bottom.
Thank you. That paragraph you just read states, this is in the words of Brigadier Mkonazi, I forwarded same to the chief's office through his PA. The chief's office, is that your office or what office is that?
That is my office, SC.
Staying still then at page 89, midway the page, there is another heading, projects undertaken with CAT. The first, it says, cartels examination at the college. Do you know what cartels examination is?
I think he wanted to say cadets examination at the college.
Cadets.
Those are our new students. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. There are 3 projects listed under that heading. Please have regard to the third one, headed crime combating operations. Do you see that at the bottom of the page?
That is correct, SC.
Could you please read into the record the first 2 sentences of that paragraph? The second sentence is pretty long, but if you could quickly read that.
Of the last paragraph you said, SC.
Of item 3, crime combating operations, the third project at page 89 at the bottom of the page.
We are also involved in crime combating operations with CAT Security Services, together with other security services that are committed in crime fighting around city. CAT Security is assisting EMPD by providing additional technology of monitoring the action and movement of criminals, tracking suspects, and other resources we use when engaging, chasing, and arresting these highly trained and skilled repeat offenders that are not afraid to fight back with police when cornered.
Now, having regard to what you've just read and the activities listed therein, I would like to invite your opinion on the legality of the activities that this document suggests CAT VIP is undertaking with EMPD.
These are illegal activities, SC, in the sense that they do not have powers affecting certain activities which are mentioned on top there.
And go ahead, my apologies. Please continue. I apologize.
They do not have legislative powers to do some of the activities which are mentioned above.
Such as?
Such as
he speaks of
the movement of criminals, tracking suspects,
yes,
and other resources we use when engaging, chasing, and arresting of these highly trained skills and repeat offenders that are not afraid to fight back with police when cornered.
And those are the activities that you suggest that would be illegal if pursued.
That is correct.
Now to conclude on this document, please, at page 90, have regard to the last paragraph before the signature.
Sorry, before
yes, Chair.
The chief goes on. Can you please relate your answer to what you say in paragraphs 13 and 14 of your statement at page 5? In those paragraphs, you set out the powers of the EMPD.
On page
5 of your statement, the small file, page 5, paragraphs 13 and 14. There you set out the powers of the EMPD. Now I want you to relate what you just said at page 90 about the powers that the EMPD does not have. See, what you say in paragraph, let me just go back. Yeah, under paragraph 3, starting at page 89 of the Big Fire, certain activities are stated there. Certain activities in respect of which, according to Brigadier Mkwanazi, the EMPD is assisted by Cat Matala VIP Protection Services. Now you say those activities that Brigadier Mkwanazi says are performed by the EMPD with the assistance of Cat Security Services do not fall within the powers of the EMPD. So I'm saying, for purposes of clarity, can you please relate your answer to what you say in paragraphs 13 and 14 of the smaller file as to what the powers of the EMPD are? Do you follow me?
I'm following.
Yes. Yeah. Can you please do that?
Some of these cases on the main bundle, page 90, they are talking about tracking suspects, movement of criminals, other resources we use when engaging and chasing, arresting of these highly trained, skilled, and repeated offenders that are not afraid to fight back with police when cornered. These are security members Brigadier Mkwanazi is talking with. These security members, they've got no powers, including our metro police officers, where there are cases. In most of these cases, if there is a wanted criminal, already there is a case number. So that is when they start now to resume the investigative leg of law enforcement. So our members, they don't have that power to do that. Coupled with these security companies, especially coupled with this security company, which he's talking about here, we had no engagement with it at all. It was also not part of the companies which I have mentioned earlier, which were appointed by the city, the 10 companies. They were not even part of.
I wanted your focus to be on the EMPD and not so much on Cat Security Services, because according to what you say at the foot of page 89, Cat Security Services was assisting whom? Assisting EMPD. That's what you say, the first two words at page 90. So Cat Security Services assisting EMPD. So my focus is on the powers of the EMPD, not the powers of Cat Security Services. But perhaps let's leave it there.
Or perhaps I may give a shot at it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
We are reading this report that Brigadier Mkwanazi filed with you.
That's correct, yes.
In support of this memoranda of agreement. Now, the Chair refers you to page 89, the bottom of page 89, under that project, crime combating operations. You see that?
I could see that, SC.
And at the last sentence of that, which is the start of the second sentence, Cat Security is, if you turn over leaf, assisting EMPD. Are you following?
I'm following, SC.
And then that proceeds to list the activities of the EMPD and suggests that in carrying out those activities, EMPD is assisted by CAT VIP. You follow that?
I follow SC.
Now the chair invites you back to your statement. If you could go to your statement then at page 5.
I am at page 5.
And at paragraphs 13 and 14, which is where you deal with the powers of the EMPD.
That is correct, SC.
Now, the question, as I understand from the chair, is considering the activities listed in page 89, page 90, do they accord with the powers as you have explained them in your statement at paragraphs 13 and 14 at page 5?
Partly I responded on that, Commissioner, in the sense that most of the cases which I'm looking at page 90, some of these cases will have already a case number. I don't have the details of all the cases. But for the fact that Metro Police don't have investigative powers, it's only SAPS who has those powers. So they were acting outside their mandate.
So if apologies. So then if I understand, let me check my understanding. You are suggesting what is listed at page 90 of JM 15, where it said EMPD tracks suspects, speaks of tracking suspects, right? At page 90. And then it says that it engages in chasing and arresting highly trained, skilled, and repeat offenders. Is EMPD empowered to do that? Just generally, those two activities that I've highlighted that are listed at page 90.
Certain, yes, when we are accompanied by SAPS.
Okay, I'll put it differently. EMPD on its own, can it undertake those activities? Regard being head to what you say at paragraphs 13 and 14, where you set out the powers, the limited powers.
They've got no authority in this sense. When I read here on page 90,
yes,
we even talk about repeat offenders. You cannot be a repeat offender not even have been arrested before. So you will obviously have been having a criminal case.
Okay.
So they are assuming the work of police to do investigation.
Okay, understood. Hope that helps a bit. Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Chief, on that report from Mr. Mkwanazi at page 89, where Mr. Mkwanazi lists maybe let me start off with where the heading submissions at page 89 in that big bundle. Right at the end, the last sentence, it starts line 3 from the bottom. He says the said memorandum hasn't been signed or approved. Maybe in fact, let me read the whole paragraph so it makes sense. It reads, after this presentation, we took a decision to formalize the relationship through a proposed memorandum of understanding, drafted and sent to the Chief's office for approval. The said memorandum was also sent to me for signature. I forwarded same to the Chief's office through his PA. The said memorandum hasn't been signed or approved. What is published in the media is an operational plan as per operational duties of an event or operation signed and co-signed by all colleagues whose signatures appear at the bottom. That signatures appear at the bottom. I thought it was bottom of this report, but this report has got only one signature. Is there a missing page? Is he referring to signatures that were part of his report to you?
Thanks, Commissioner. When he talks about the operational plan, where he speaks about certain signatures which are appearing on that operational plan, I think is in one of our attachments,
I see.
that operational plan.
And so the signatures would be there on the operational plan, not on his report to you.
That is correct.
Okay. And then the second heading, projects undertaken with CAT. The first one, you've corrected it, cadets examination at the college. And then towards the end, it tells us we requested in the 1, 2, 3, in the third line, after papers and ink, comma, he says, we requested their intervention and the commitment that Mike van Wyk made and fulfilled in terms of printing and producing documents that made cadets to write their exams with our EMPD at a cost of more than 300,000 at that time as per their estimation. Did you ever investigate or find out whether indeed such a service was provided by CAT, by this whichever, I can't distinguish Medicare and CAT, whichever of these two companies?
Commissioner, on his own statement, when it was requested by the acting chief of police, Mr. Spies, he committed himself that they offered him 300,000, I think, for stationery for the cadets at the college. I have never seen those, but he committed that on his own statement.
And lastly, item 2, 2022/3, state of the city address. He says, we also work very closely with CAT security on our first state of the city address by the current administration. Now, you have told us and you have provided us with a list of service providers who were appointed in 2020, and that you find at page 66, JM 13, and as you testified, it doesn't include any of the two companies, CAT Security at least, that he refers to there. Have you been able to verify whether they were indeed on duty supporting the metro at that state of the city address? It's really a factual question, were they there or not? Have you been able to establish
that? Through you, Chair. Commissioner Baloyi, may I point out that Chief Mapie deals with that particular aspect, the state of city address, from paragraph 57 in the statement, which would be a page.
I'm happy to leave it.
So we can pack it, and then when he deals with that aspect, it will address most of, if not all, the questions that you've raised.
I'm happy to do that. Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Do you confirm, Chief Mapie, that further on in your statement, you do deal extensively with the 2022-23 state of the city address?
That is correct, Essie.
I have requested the Commissioner that perhaps you stand down those questions until you get to that part of your statement, and then we will check that we have answered the questions.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, just then to close up on this document, this memorandum, it's a report filed by Brigadier Mkhwanazi. I'm at page 90 of the big file. JM 15. The signature page, are you there?
I've got it, Essie.
And I invite you to please read into the record the last paragraph.
I hope and believe the Chief will understand and initiate an initiative we are taking as his subordinates in advice and advancing private partnership towards fighting crime and protecting the cities, whilst also skilling our own, as mentioned in this report.
Thank you, Chief. I see in this paragraph, Mr. Matala suggests, Brigadier Mkhwanazi suggests that the engagement with CAT VIP services was an initiative undertaken by your subordinates. Do you have that understanding as well from that paragraph?
That is what I'm reading here.
And he calls upon you to appreciate the initiative of your subordinates.
I noted that, SC.
Do you appreciate this initiative?
I don't appreciate that, SC, because we as Metropolis, we have got a standardized training which the standards are prescribed by the National Police Commissioner.
Yes.
How police need to be trained in all aspects of their law enforcement fraternity, including the Metropolis. So we are duty bound to align ourselves with the directive of the National Police Commissioner in the country.
Thank you.
Before you leave this document, just one comment or question from me, Chief. It bothers me that EMPD, together with a security company you know nothing of, was undertaking serious projects without that company being appointed properly, and two, without the knowledge of the chief of police. And some of the activities are of a policing nature. Does it not bother you?
It bothered me when I learned of this incident, Commissioner, that this State of the City address was happening, I think, either on a Wednesday, then the following day, council still need to sit to debate the State of the City's address. So it usually takes 2 days. What Brigadier Mkhwanazi spoke about, it's the deployment on the first day. It came to my attention a bit late at night through someone who informed me, because when I saw some of these members at the chamber, council chamber, wearing suits, some having firearms, I was under the impression that they came with other delegates or mayor of Joburg or Tshwane to the city of Ekurhuleni. Only later on I realized, when I've asked the deputy chief in charge, who verbally told me that these were SAPS members.
Chief, I apologize for interrupting you. May I perhaps request you to park that as the aspect you are addressing now? Because if you go to paragraph 57 at page 17 of your statement, please go there. You deal with what you are addressing now in a chronological fashion. And I would suggest that perhaps you wait until we get there. What I had understood Commissioner Khumalo to be asking you is whether the activities that are listed at page 90 that we looked at in Brigadier Mkhwanazi's report, such as tracking suspects, chasing and arresting repeat offenders. I think I understood his question to be the fact that they happened without the knowledge of the chief of police, when by their nature, very nature, appear to be policing functions, whether that does not concern you.
I agree, Commissioner, it is really worrisome. To me, also the safety of our community.
Thank you, Chief. Can I then invite you to your page 15 and paragraph 48 thereof? And in regard to these very activities that Commissioner Khumalo asked you about, the small file, your statement, page 15.
Okay. Yes, I'm
at
page
paragraph
15.
48. If you go to the end of that paragraph 48, if you could count 4 lines up.
I've got that, Essie.
Okay. If you could just read that, the remainder of that paragraph, starting with I submit that.
I submit that the activities as described by Brigadier Mkhwanazi are highly irregular and in some instances patently unlawful. As I indicated above, the functions and powers of members of EMPD are highly limited and could never include the activities described in this report.
Thank you. Is that why then you say it concerns you that Brigadier Mkhwanazi says the EMPD is undertaking these kind of activities in response to Commissioner Khumalo's question?
That is correct, Essie.
Thank you, Chief. Then we just quickly we turn to your paragraph 49 at page 15 still. You made the point at paragraph 59 that there are certain MOUs concluded by both the EMPD and the city. Do you see that?
That is correct, Essie.
And in this regard, you refer the commission to Annexure JM16.
That is correct, Essie.
Could you please turn to Annexure JM16 at page 91 of the big bundle?
I've got it, Essie.
And this, according to your paragraph 49, is a list of 5 MOUs and 1 memorandum of agreement concluded by the EMPD, right?
That is correct.
And that this document, you state, is issued by the EMPD Research and Policy Development Unit.
That is correct, Essie.
So these are the 5 memoranda of understanding and SLAs.
That is correct.
I see on this list that none of them include CAT VIP services. Do you confirm?
None of those MOUs include CAT VIP security services.
And no, does it include Medicare 24 or any other derivative of that name?
None, Essie.
Do you attach this document in support of the contention that the MOUs as attached, JM 11 and 12, are fraudulent?
That is correct, Essie.
You then at page 16 from paragraph 50, you state that Brigadier Mkhwanazi did not have the requisite authority to conclude any memoranda on behalf of the city.
That is correct. Essie.
Where would that authority derive from? Who's got the authority?
The person who has got authority to conclude memorandums of understanding is the accounting officer, who is the city manager.
And your contention that Brigadier Mkhwanazi did not have the requisite authorities because he's neither of those functionaries.
That is correct. He did not have.
Do you know whether or not he could have had the powers delegated to him by the chief executive officer and or the CFO? Would you know?
I will know because I'm the head of the department. It needs to start with me. They need to brief me.
Yes.
If they want to cascade the responsibility of the city manager to my junior. So I should have known about it.
And you maintain you did not know, and therefore that's the basis for concluding that he did not have the authority.
That is correct, Essie.
Continuing then to paragraph 51, you invite our attention to your document you have annexed as JM 17. Do you see it, paragraph 51?
I could see that, SC.
In the big file, if you turn to page 92, that is where you locate your annexure JM 17.
I've got page 92.
It's a two-page document. It appears to be a letter. It's dated the 15th of June, 2022, and it's unsigned. It just concludes, kind regards, Mr. Vusimus Mohlahlana, CEO, at page 93. You see that?
I could see that, SC.
Now, at paragraph 51, you summarize the content of that document. Could you briefly tell us what that document is and what it purports to communicate?
On page 16, bullet number 51, there is on record a letter dated 15 June 2022 from CAT VIP Protection titled Letter of Intention to Commit. In this letter, the CEO of CAT VIP Protection, Mr. Vusimus Mohlahlana, claims that the company has signed a memorandum of agreement with Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department, which is EMPD, which aims to enhance the EMPD's efforts in crime prevention and community safety and to assist in VIP protection training, tactical training, and skill development. The letter goes further to claim that the company, in order to achieve this objective, intends to donate 4 vehicles and to lend EMPD a helicopter to fly for a maximum of 2 hours per month, which will aid EMPD to gain an aerial view of the city during their operations. I attach Mark JM17, a copy of this letter. That is the letter.
As a matter of interest and based on your own policing experience, what value would you attach to access to a helicopter where you could fly it only for a maximum of 2 hours a month? How valuable would that be?
Commissioners, those are needed resources in the police fraternity because you can curb crime in a very short space of time. But as I've indicated, that we cannot just accept donations without following the right processes.
Continuing then with your statement, when you look at paragraph 52, you recall we dealt with the contents of that paragraph in response to a question from Commissioner Baloyi regarding policy and prescripts governing donations within the municipality. You recall that?
That is correct.
So we may then proceed to paragraph 53. And if you could just read the short paragraph 53 into the record.
Paragraph 53. During 2023, I deposed an affidavit for the IPID investigation in which I made clear that the memorandum in respect of the 7 vehicles is fraudulent document. It's a fraudulent document. I attached thereto a copy of this affidavit marked JM18.
And I invite you to then go to the big file to page 94. That is your JM18.
I've got it, SC.
And it runs up to page 100. And it's signed by you under oath.
That is correct, SC.
This document, Annexure JM18, is undated. Is that correct? It doesn't have a date, does it?
I did not see a date when I went through it.
Yes. But you say at your paragraph 53 that you deposed to that affidavit for purposes of the IPID investigation into this, what you call blue light saga.
That is correct, see?
So much as it doesn't have a date, if you know when it is, IPID started investigating and concluded, that's the time in which you would have deposed to this affidavit.
That will be the proper logic, see?
Thank you. You deal with a few aspects in that affidavit, but am I correct to say the gist of it was to deny the validity of the agreement or memoranda of understanding purporting to donate any vehicles or some such to the EMPD by Kent VIP?
That is correct, see? I disown that those memorandums which were signed by Brigadier Mkhwanazi.
And then if we could read that together with your paragraph 55, and at paragraph 55, you reference annexure JM19. And JM19 starts at big file, page 101. The document at page 101, you describe as an IPID report. Are you there? 191.
And the big bundle is 191 or
101.
101.
The day is, I do apologize, 101. That's your annexure JM19.
I've got it.
Could you state for the record what that document is?
The one which is on page 101 in the thick bundle.
Yes.
It's a report from IPID.
Yes.
After they dealt with their investigation into this blue light saga. And I will believe that at the right end, there are findings from IPID.
Before we get to the findings, that document at page 103 has got signatures and it's dated. Could you read into the records the signatures and the dates?
On page 103, right at the bottom, it has been signed by senior investigator from IPID, that is Mr. Kulu, on the 1st of September 2023.
Yes.
And then the acting national head investigator, Mr. Ifela Kai, has signed it also on the 1st of September 2023.
Now, at page 103 still, before the signatures in bold, is a heading IPID recommendation.
That's correct, I see.
Can you read the recommendation into the record?
Based on the above information contained in the case docket, the IPID recommends that disciplinary steps be taken against Director Julius Dr. Mkhwanazi, personal number, for the contravention of MP Disciplinary Procedure Collective Agreement Standard of Conduct 1 in bracket 1.2.5, conduct themselves with honesty and integrity. However, docket is referred to DPP for decision.
Now, that is the IPID's recommendation on this blue light saga.
That is correct, SC.
Were any disciplinary steps taken against Brigadier Mkhwanazi and concluded as recommended by IPID?
No disciplinary steps were taken. What I know is the process to start the disciplinary proceedings started through my department, the internal affairs, who did the initial investigation during the time of the acting chief of police, Rebospice. They've done the
On the top stories, flies fair wage negotiations resume and weather SA issues level 2 weather warning for Gauteng. For SAFM News, I'm Ondilambana and a very good afternoon. Wage negotiations resumed today between Flysafair and the SA Cabin Crew Association under the mediation of the CCMA. The union represents 65% of the airline's 800 cabin crew staff, and those members have been locked out by the airline. SACA has threatened to strike, with the union's president saying it was willing to accept the tabled 4-year agreement of between 6% and 7%. But that the employer included some non-financial benefits in the final documents that were not bargained for and that would compromise the lives of workers. The airline's Kirby Gordon says they remain committed to a resolution with the cabin crew members to avoid a strike action at the Flysafair.
Operations remain fully stable with 100% of all of the flights departing on time, and there have been no disruptions. The parties will be back at the CCMA, and the intention is to continue to engage constructively and really put a strong focus on reaching a fair and balanced resolution today. Our commitment is to protect our passengers whilst we work toward a sustainable outcome for all of our staff.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has defended his decision to select a panel that will recommend the appointment of the next National Director of Public Prosecutions. He's answering oral questions in the National Assembly. He was first criticized by the DA's Glenys Breitenbach that the panel does not have a person experienced in prosecuting criminal matters. He responded by saying he's open to good ideas, while BOSA leader Dr. Musi Maimane suggested that it should rather be chaired by some of members of the GNU to avoid conflict of interest when ANC members are to be prosecuted in future. Ramaphosa expressed full confidence in the Minister of Justice Mamloko Kubai as the chairperson of the panel.
Now, this report that is a opportunity is and should be seen as a blueprint for greater equality. It should also be seen as and support that should support South Africa's G20 presidency's goal to put inequality on the international agenda. It correctly asserts that inequality is a betrayal an impediment to inclusive growth and a threat to democracy itself.
Installation of blue lights in the security vehicles belonging to attempted murder accused and alleged cartel member Vusumuzi Cathy Mohlahlana was unlawful. This is according to the chief of police in the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, Jabulani Mapiyeye. Mapiyeye has testified before the Madlanga Commission that the fitting of the blue lights occurred while he was on leave. He adds that they were authorized by Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi, the deputy police chief at Ekurhuleni Metro.
Upon my return from leave, Commissioner Spies made a report to me on this matter, advising that flowing from his investigation, he had referred the matter to the Internal Affairs Unit in the Compliance Division, as well as to the Independent Investigative Directorate for Investigation and Recommendation. He further advised that he had on the 3rd of March also opened a criminal case against Brigadier Mkhwanazi for fraud and corruption arising from these facts at the police station in Boksburg.
Brace for cold and wet weather overnight in Gauteng. This as the Weather Service issues a level 2 warning for severe thunderstorms expected across large parts of the province from 2 p.m. today until the early hours of Friday morning. The storms are expected to bring hail, strong winds and heavy rain, which could lead to flooding, damage to property and disruptions to services. Residents are urged to be cautious, avoid flooded roads and stay away from open areas during lightning. The Weather Service's Lehlohonolo Thobela has warned communities to stay alert as rain is also predicted in other parts of the country.
These storms are expected to cover Gauteng, the southern parts of Limpopo, the northwest, the eastern parts of the Northern Cape, into the Free State, as well as the southwestern parts of Mpumalanga. In KwaZulu-Natal, the yellow level 2 warning will cover the western parts of the province, which would cover areas around Newcastle into the eastern parts of Newcastle this afternoon. For tomorrow, cloudy conditions will persist for the eastern provinces, with a 60% chance of showers and thundershowers expected to cover the northwest, Gauteng, the Free State, into the northern parts of the Northern Cape.
The U.S. Department of Transportation is to begin cutting flights from tomorrow because of the continuing government shutdown. The Federal Aviation Administration says it will cut air traffic by 10% across 40 busy airports in order to maintain safety. Air traffic controllers have been working without pay for more than a month, and some are now calling in sick. The BBC's Peter Bose says the government is trying to reassure travelers.
There is no indication right now that air travel in this country is not safe. That's what they're trying to avoid. In fact, the FAA has said that the system is still operating safely, but they are warning about these staffing problems and the fatigue pressures, especially amongst its staff, saying that as time goes on, this is now a record-breaking shutdown in terms of the number of days, and the problems are only going to get worse.
Recapping the top story, wage negotiations resumed today between FlySafair and the SA Cabin Crew Association under the mediation of the CCMA. The union represents 65% of the airline's 800 cabin crew staff, and those members have been locked out by the airline. I'm Ondilambana for SFM News Headlines at 3:30.
In sports this hour, Bruce names 22-man Bafana Bafana squad to face Zambia. Pakistan 206 for 6 after 43 overs after winning the toss against the Proteas, and political interference frustrating for WADA. More details at 3:30.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
EFC is live this Thursday. The legend Boyd Allen returns to mount a new campaign for the title that was once his.
This man has set the world on fire.
He faces a menacing warrior, Vince Bembe, who is eager to stamp his own passport to featherweight glory.
Bembe is on his way up.
EFC 129, live from the World Sports Betting Arena. Watch it on SABC Sport Channel on DTT Channel 4 from 7 p.m. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
This November, SFM proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
And as the Freedom Charter says, no legitimate government could claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. And I think sometimes people forget that.
SAFM invites you to our third annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi. The theme of the lecture is Confronting Inequality, Corruption and Unemployment, Rebuilding South Africa's Social Contract for Inclusive and Sustainable Growth. The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Four Ways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. You're listening to the National Pulse on SAFM.
Hello, it's 3:09. John Kerricky in for Ashraf. It's the National Pulse. Good afternoon to you. There are three big live events happening at the moment. There's the ad hoc commission, the ad hoc committee in Parliament. There's the Madlanga Commission that is